Well, welcome to the Walton Advisory Board panel, Ghost Hunting 101. We're happy to have a large audience here this evening, the viewing audience as well as a live audience. We're fortunate to have two organizations visiting us this evening. We have Todd and Martina Baker from the Pacific Paranormal Research Society that are going to begin our discussion this evening. And then we've also been joined by the Trails in Paranormal Society, and we have Sarah Leslie and Steve Wolf who are joining us this evening, and they're going to continue the discussion. After about, I think, a 15 or 20-minute presentation by Todd and Martina, that's going to be followed by approximately a 30-minute presentation by Sarah and Steve. And then we're going to invite any of you who are willing to join them on a field research trip to the Pioneer Cemetery for some hands-on paranormal research. For those of you who would prefer to stay here and continue a discussion about the art and science of paranormal research, you're more than welcome to do that. Todd and Martina will be remaining here, and they also have some EVPs and some other material to share with you. So you can either join us for the field trip or stay here and continue the discussion. So welcome.
Well, first, can we just give Kevin Hatfield a big hand for allowing us paranormal experience? Because he rocks. So, all right, who are you going to call? And if you haunt it, we will come, right? All right, how many of you here tonight have had what you consider to be have had a paranormal experience? Okay. How many of you here are just interested in this stuff? Oh, yeah. And how many of you only showed up tonight because somebody cute asked you to come with them? Hey, you know what? Me too. So I am Martina Baker, and this is my husband Todd, and we're from the Pacific Paranormal Research Society, and we work out of Portland, Oregon. And like you said, also with us for Trails End tonight, and they're also Portland, Oregon, and Oregon City. We all travel up and down the Northwest. All of us do, Washington, Oregon. Sometimes we even go to California. So we're all over the place. And I want to give you a real quick ghostly primer tonight for this evening. So how many of you do believe that at one time in your life you've actually seen a ghost? You've seen a ghost. Okay? So how many, what did you see when you saw it?
Our house is really, really old. It's like almost 100 years old. And I was downstairs and I was home alone, and our stairwell, it's like really cold there all the time, and we've seen like white areas like when it's dark.
Have you ever heard any voices or heard anything? Or just seen things out of the corner of your eye?
Sometimes they set off electronics.
Oh yeah, they like to do that. Yeah, they feed off of electricity, just so you know. They also like to drain batteries. Don't be surprised tonight. It's very possible when they take you out for your investigations if their batteries die, if there's anything hanging around. I hope you brought extra batteries. Okay, that's good. So we all have stock in Costco, and we buy a lot of Duracell. So who else raised their hand and said that they've seen a ghost? I saw there was somebody else. Yes? What did you see? Tell me.
Old woman.
An old woman?
Yeah.
Was this in your home that you lived in?
Yeah, in your house.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Typical widow. So.
Did she look at you?
She did.
She did? Okay, that's interesting. Well, how many types of hauntings are there? What do you think? How many? If we go into a place, we're going to be looking for types of hauntings. How many do you think there are?
5.
7. Wow. That'd be a lot. Actually, there are 2. There are 2 types of hauntings. So, you know, all right, no, you guys got to go. No, I'm just kidding. Now, can you name, does anybody know, can you name them? Good and bad. Actually, from a technical standpoint, we call them interactive and residual. So the difference between those, he just named an interactive ghost. An interactive ghost is one that walks by you or it looks right at you. That's interactive. Whether they're conscious or not, they're interacting with you on a personal level somehow. Now, residual is very different. Residual hauntings are like a kind of what they call like a footprint in time. So I'm sure you've all heard about Gettysburg and how they have those haunted battlefields, and all you see those ghostly armies come together and they fight and battle and then they disappear. Those are not all ghostly spirits hanging around in that area. That's a residual haunting. The same thing is like a ghost ship. There's a Schooner Bay, which is right up here at the coast. They see ghost ships up there maybe every few years, and somebody reports that. And they see the huge schooner coming into the bay, and people rushing around like they're trying to save it, because there were a lot of ships that went down. So that's the difference. You've now got a ghostly primer. There's 2 of them: interactive, something that interacts with you on a personal level somehow, and residual. which is something that you can't interact with as a residual haunting. And it's just going to happen, and it's just going to go away. You just never know when it's going to start or when it's going to finish. So, what do you think creates a ghost and causes them to stay here? Oh, come on, I know you guys watch Ghost Hunters. You got to tell me. What do you think? What causes them to stay?
What causes them to stay? Unfinished business and, I don't know, the conscious part of whatever we are.
Okay. Anybody else?
Death in extreme circumstance, like extreme sadness, extreme anger.
Could be. It's true.
Attachment in general.
Very good.
Not being aware that they're dead.
That's very good, yes. I think we've named pretty much all those, but how about you? What's your name?
Mike?
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine. Mike, let's just say that today's not a good day. I'm just gonna ruin your day from this point on, okay, Mike? I like you, but you know, we just gotta do this. So today you actually drank too much. You drank all morning long, and you just decided, you know, I'm really drunk, but I'm gonna go take a walk in the middle of the night. So you went out and you walked down the middle of the street, and my goodness, you just got hit by a bus from Oregon State. I mean, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, Mike, but you're dead, okay? You know, you realize that you're dead, and you're looking at yourself going, oh, this really sucks. This was not a good day, right? Okay. Now, do you have a choice to stay behind, or are you going to go where you're supposed to go? Do you have a choice?
I think so.
Yes, you do, which surprises a lot of people. Ghosts stay here because they do have a choice. They've made that choice to stay here for unfinished business, or for the sadness that they've encountered, or for something that they're attached to, whether it's a location or whether it's an object. There's some reason that they're still here and they've made a choice to stay. So Mike, you've decided that you're going to stay, okay? You go back into your house and you say, you know what, I'm not going to go anywhere. I refuse to go anywhere until the Ducks win the national championship. This was just happening to me too soon, and I am just not going anywhere. I don't know how long you're going to be there, but you're just deciding to stay. All right, now in the meantime, they sell your home, Mike. Of course they do, right, because you're gone. But you're still in your house. You haven't left. Now the new family moves in, and you're not real happy about that. So what kind of things do you think you might do while you're in your home? And you can help him out here if you want. Name some stuff that you think ghosts might do, that Mike might do because there's people in his house now.
Say things like, get out.
You could. You might do that. You could do that. Well, he's probably going to do more things, though, in the beginning that's going to make him feel comfortable, because he's decided to stay, and he's staying in his house. So he's going to do something that makes him comfortable, whether that means taking some beers out of their fridge, whether that means that he's going to, you know, walk around the house at all hours of the night, sing, you know, whatever song what's your favorite band?
Green Day.
There you go. All right, you're going to walk around singing Green Day, or, you know, The Killer. Somebody told me that you had a boyfriend. Okay, so you're going to do these things, and you're going to just carry on and pretend that these other people in your house don't exist. And that is what they're doing, okay? So that is what you're doing, right? All right. So all the while you're doing this, Mike, and you try to ignore the people who are living in your home, okay? But they know you're there, Mike, and they've seen you and they've heard you. It's kind of bothering them a little bit. And they've tried to talk to you, but you're just ignoring them and doing your thing. This is what we're experiencing. This is the kind of stuff that we deal with all the time, okay? So remember, Mike, there's one thing that's really interesting that most people don't understand. When ghosts decide to stay in a location, they're seeing things the way that they want to see them. So you're seeing your home the way that you remember it, exactly. Everything is in its place. It is perfect. Things are wonderful. You know the other people are there and something's changed, but you don't want to be reminded of that. They're going to stick around, and they're going to see things the way that they want to see them. But one day, these people in your house decide that they don't like the way your home is, and they're going to do some home improvement. So they decide to cover up your duck wallpaper in the bathroom and put little daisy wallpaper all over it. You're standing there and you're watching this, and then they start painting rooms blue and getting all foofy on you and getting all Victorian furniture and putting all these antiques and changing everything around. Now, how do you feel, Mike?
I'm not very happy.
You're not very happy. So now what's Mike going to do? Now Mike's going to get really, really active, isn't he? He's going to say, I am unhappy now. You've changed everything the way that I liked it, the way things were. Because remodeling is the #1 cause for paranormal activity to start getting more and more active. You don't know how many times we ask that question first, right off. This is going on, this is going on, this is going on. And one of the first things we say is, when's the last time you've done any redecorating or remodeling in your home? Because someone like poor Mike here is really upset. Because now you're making reality. All this little foofy world you lived in, this little dream world, that everything was perfect, and you've stayed here, and the way things are, the way you like them to be, now has been smacked down in front of you, saying, nope, these people own this house, you are not in control, and they're going to change it. People don't like change. So that's why remodeling causes a lot of activity. And that's when we get called. Oh my gosh, all these things. You might start taking their tools away from them so they can't work. That's a good one. They do that a lot. Or you might start knocking on the walls in the middle of the night because they've been knocking during the day because they're building things. You're letting people know that you really don't like that sound and you don't like what they're doing. You're going to do whatever it takes to make them uncomfortable and to make them stop what they're doing because it's upsetting to you. Right? So, Mike, I'm sorry that you died. I really am. But you've been a good sport. And I want to tell you that you don't look like a stubborn person to me, but ghosts are some of the most stubborn people that you're ever going to meet. He's over there going, oh, yeah. They are. Think about it. If you die and you know you're dead, why aren't you going to where you're supposed to go? No, I'm staying here because I built this house. I'm staying here because this bar, these people really liked me and I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying because my grandmother gave me that antique dresser and there's nothing you can do about it and I will follow it everywhere it goes. Those are some of the most stubborn people you're ever going to meet. Somebody who's not going to go to where they're supposed to go. And Mike, I just want to thank you. I'm going to give you a button for being such a good sport. And can we give him a nice big hand because he died today. So are ghosts attracted to people or locations more? What do you think? Location, location, location. There is something about the location that they're attracted to. They could have died somewhere in Michigan, but if their home is here in Oregon and that's where they grew up, they're going to be able to come back and they're saying, this is where I feel comfortable and this is where I'm going to stay if they choose to stay. So, do you think we can get rid of a stubborn person? No. So we're really not Ghostbusters. What we really are interventionists, if you really want to think about it. When a living person calls us in, first of all, we're going to try to verify that something's going on. Many times things happen in a home, especially older homes, that make a lot of sounds and you might think that there's something going on when there's really not. Just because we don't find anything when we're there doesn't mean that it's not haunted, but there's a good indication that it might not be with all the equipment that we use. So we really want to go and use our scientific equipment to go through it and see if we do find anything. That's very important. We also have to go in with some skepticism on every single investigation because you can easily get predisposed. If you go somewhere really dark, like some abandoned asylum or some creepy old prison like Alcatraz, you're going to be freaked out anyway and you're going to feel cold and the back of your neck is going to get, you got to be really careful about stuff like that. And I don't know if you watch Ghost Hunters, and there was that one where he got really scared in the prison, I think it was, and he just bailed out of there and he went running. Whether or not anything really happened is beside the point, but he did not keep his cool, and that's a big no-no. It's hard to do, and if you feel uncomfortable, sometimes you do have to walk out, but you have to walk out. And tonight, I do say that if any of you get kind of creeped out, if you do decide to do this investigation, if you feel like you're just uncomfortable, feel free to just leave the area, but just don't run, because you might hurt yourself. There are more accidents from people running away from ghosts or unghost activity than actually being hurt by a ghost. It's very rare for a ghost to actually hurt you. Very, very rare. Regardless of what you see on the Amityville Horror and what they try to teach you in Hollywood. It doesn't happen like that. So, there's really nothing more as investigators that we do but try to verify that there is something going on. Get some evidence, and if there is, we try to do a little bit of an intervention. Talk to the ghosts and talk to the people and say, hey, you guys set some boundaries with Mike. He's been a bad little monkey. And you got to tell Mike, this is my house now, and you can't do this anymore. If you want to stay around here during the day while we're at work, that's fine. But this is my house, and in the middle of the night, no more knocking, no more this, no more that. Don't take my beers out of the fridge, and I want my tools back where I left them. Those are the type of things that we have to teach residents, because it's very important as residents to make them feel empowered. Business owners are the same way, because you start to feel like you lose control when you've got a ghost in your house. All of a sudden, those people will tell you, I just don't know what to do. I'm totally lost. This ghost is just running my life. And you can't let them do that, because they don't have the body anymore. They just have a shell of their former selves, and they're in this little dreamland. So that's really all we do. We try to educate the residents and teach them how to behave, and that's the living and the dead, actually. And so let's hope that the ghosts you meet tonight know how to behave. So, at this point, I'd like to offer a very warm welcome and have Miss Sarah Leslie from Trails End Paranormal do her lovely PowerPoint presentation. Can we give her a hand?
Now we're into exploration. This is the actual investigation. This is where you take a team of trained paranormal investigators using your technical equipment and or psychic individuals. Haunted places do not just happen at midnight or 2 a.m. You can find ghostly activity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime, day or night. Darkness, lightness, does not matter. Safety, of course, is first priority. We always carry a first aid kit. At least one person carries a first aid kit. If we are going into a situation where it's a dark area, someone does a preliminary investigation to try and find the physical dangers, like falling into an open grave, those kinds of things. And just so you all know, we did check out the cemetery in daylight, and we have found all of the physical dangers. So we'll steer you around those. You're not going to fall into an open grave tonight. Whenever you go out onto an investigation, if you're a professional, you will never trespass. You'll always have permission from the owner of the site in writing. If you go to a cemetery or to an abandoned building, you need to alert the local authorities so they don't come in shooting. You need to tell the cops, hey, we're this professional organization, we're going to be here from this time to this time. You know, we're not burglarizing things. The team leader is the one who customizes the team for each investigation. We usually use both techies and sensitives are our terms for that. And the evidence we're looking for is electronic voice phenomena, or EVP. That is the recorded voices that you have your recorder playing. You usually ask a question, leave a space, wait for an answer. You play this back later, and that's when you hopefully get your answers. You usually don't hear it at the time of the recording. And we also have unexplained temperature fluctuations, and these can be hot or cold spots. I know a lot of you hear about cold spots, and that theory is from the ghost taking that energy out of the air, out of the electromagnetic field, thusly making a cold spot. But I personally, and I know several other investigators, have come across plenty of hot spots as well. There are images, both still and video, EMF readings, which is electromagnetic field readings. This is hard to do in a place that is electrically wired, but if you can pinpoint the actual electricity spots, then when you get an anomaly somewhere else, you can say this was probably a ghostly anomaly. There's personal experience from the investigator's point of view, and then you're also getting eyewitness accounts of the people, usually the clients, that have called you in to check out their ghostly activity, and those are just as important. Now, all of these together combined is the best way to present evidence. If you can get an EMF reading, that's a high reading, in conjunction with taking a picture of either ectoplasm or an orb, along with a cold spot, you got your temperature gauge, you got 3 pieces of evidence right there that's telling you there's a ghost. And that's what we like to do. We like to pile it on. And Frankenstein's Pub down in Mount Angel, on their sign, they advertise for spirits, and they do have liquor, but this is the other kind of spirit they have. This is an orb in motion. I'm going to be showing images, so I'm going to turn down some more lights so you can see these better. Thank you. This is an orb in motion that was captured last February, in Frankenstein's pub in the karaoke area. This person, this ghost was just boogieing down on the dance floor in the karaoke area. This was taken by the president of the Oregon City chapter of Trails End, and she was able to get 5 other images just like this of the same orb doing these ins and outs and twists and turns. I was standing about 3 feet away from her, pointing my camera in the same direction, and I could not get anything. They like to play around with you like this. They, a lot of times you'll get a paranormal investigator that will get all of the evidence gathered that evening because for some reason the ghost has picked you as their little playmate, and they'll ignore all the other investigators. We don't know why they do that. A ghost prerogative, I guess. This little inset here is the actual orb just blown up a little bit. And if you look in there, you'll see everybody in here will say they see something different. I don't know if this is just because I'm a veterinary technician, but I see a collie. And I doubt it was a collie haunting the pub.
A singing collie?
A singing collie, there you go. Yeah.
Lassie.
Electronic voice phenomena, EVP, has been around seriously in the field probably about 20 years, but it was discovered before that, long before that. The basic definition is disembodied voices and sounds without apparent origin, captured using digital or analog sound devices. White noise, for all of you who saw that movie, and like me were disappointed.
Hide our heads in shame.
Yeah. Don't go by that movie, please, when you're thinking about EVP or white noise. That movie was Hollywood through and through. But white noise is used by some investigators. They believe that if they can give the ghost a vehicle for their voice, because once you're dead, your body's gone, you don't have these vocal cords to create a voice. You need energy to create sounds and if you want to get across words. And so they think if you play the white noise, which is the static between broadcast stations, that will give them the vehicle they need to form words. And I have heard an EVP through this. My personal thoughts are that it's actually harder to understand the messages, and I'd rather just do a regular recording and see what comes out of that. I would encourage you to get a lot of opinions on white noise, though. Someone's going to tell you it's the best thing in the world. Just not in my opinion.
And we don't use white noise.
We don't use
either.
white noise.
Okay. Good. Steve? Okay, thank you. All right. Sarah Wilson Estep, who founded the AAEVP, which is the American Association of Electronic Voice Phenomena, in 1982, she placed the quality of EVP in classes. So there's Class A, Class B, Class C. Class A being, of course, very clear and easy to understand. Class B, you're going to get people giving you different interpretations of what they heard. And Class C is just about anybody's guess. We also use temperature gauges. These are handheld, non-contact infrared gauges. There's 3 designs there. We've used all 3 of these designs. They're all basically the same. It's a point and shoot, basically. And you can get temperatures like single spot temperatures, but you cannot get ambient room temperature from these. So what we do is we'll take with a regular thermometer, take an ambient room temperature baseline at the beginning of an investigation, and then use the handheld temperature gauges to record anomalies. We're looking for hot and cold spots, and generally fluctuations plus or minus of greater than 5 degrees. And now we're going to show you some images. This is Damage State Hospital. This is the first floor. This is Wilsonville, Oregon. And for those of you who do not know, this was a psychiatric hospital that when we went in there, they'd been closed down for a decade. And I'll tell you, just in this room, just don't let it leak out that I told you this, but it's haunted. It's very haunted. There's a lot of disturbed spirits in this hospital that really need a lot of help. This picture here is showing one of our investigators, Shannon Riley Kilgore, who is actually the president of our Eugene chapter that just started up. So you guys got to go find her. We'll get you information on her. What we did, I took this picture of her getting in step. She's sensitive. She felt that there was a patient who was calming himself down by walking in a circle, just walking in circles, walking in circles. So she got in step with him with a non-contact infrared temperature gauge, and she kept going around the room, round the room, round the room. When she pointed up at the ceiling and said, "That's it, take it," I took this picture, and I know it's not a really well-defined ectoplasm, but this is ectoplasm you're seeing that looks like a cloud. I think I can, yeah, right around in here. This is ectoplasm. This right here is Shannon's hands, and she is showing that she's got the temperature gauge in her hand. When it dropped about 8 degrees, that's when she told me to take the picture, and that's when we came up with the ectoplasm. For a basic definition of ectoplasm, we believe that it is a ghost trying to apparate, trying to appear in a full apparition. This is this is also Damage State Hospital. This is in the basement, and you'll see at the bottom here 2 orbs. Those are pretty typical orbs. You'll see the one is a little denser, a little smaller than the one on the left. That's just the way they are. They have personalities and characteristics just like people do. You can even track the same orb from picture to picture. Go ahead.
How do you tell the difference between your orb versus just the spots that are later on?
Or if it's dust or moisture, because that is true. You're right. Thanks for that question. Dust, moisture in the air, bugs, those can all cause false orbs. And what we're looking for when we're looking for a true orb is density and certain characteristics. The false orbs all look alike. They're just like cookie cutter cutouts. True orbs will have characteristics that you can actually look for. And I'd love to go into it in detail. I just don't have the time. Yeah, but that's a good question. Okay. There in that circle is what I believe, I took this picture, and I believe this was ectoplasm used to create this image of what I see to be a canid head, either a dog or a wolf. Other people see different things in these things, but I've studied this picture, and for some reason, this ghost wanted to communicate with this message. Maybe it was this person in life, maybe this was their power animal, was a wolf. We don't know. There's a lot of speculation. This is the French Quarter Courthouse in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana. This takes up a full square block, and I've taken out one of these. I need to go back. There we go. There is the inset from one of those windows, and I know you can't see it really clear on here, but that's a great orb right there. And in one of these windows is what I believe to be a manifestation of what has been said. There is a legend that there is a lawyer that haunts the 3rd floor of this courthouse. I took this about 11:30 at night, and this courthouse is under renovation. There was no one in this because it's all under construction inside. So I believe he was appearing in that window to me. And this is, again, Frankenstein's Pub in Mount Angel. There's another orb. This orb I keep finding on my photographs. Like I said, they have characteristics. When you look inside, you can see certain, they have these little certain teardrop shapes sometimes, almost look like a half of an angel wing or something like that. That's one thing that I often see. There's another one of the orbs, a little denser, and there's a blow-up of that one. And then this is our little golden boy. He was very bright, and there is blow-up of him. And I'm sorry I have to go through these really fast because we're running out of time. This is ectoplasm taken on private property in Camas, Washington. This was during a Halloween party, and I know you think I probably got pranked, but no, I did not. These people set up a spook trail on their property, and this was on their pond. That is an overturned canoe right there. And I was trying to take the picture of the mock body that's floating out here in the pond, and this showed up. And so I need to do some research on there to see if we did lose a real body in that pond. This is also ectoplasm, private property in Estacada, Oregon. This is a very active spot. We do believe there are ghosts trying to fully apparate. This was not seen. Neither one of these was seen with the naked eye. Only came up on my image, on my digital image camera. This is some of the equipment we use. The electromagnetic field meter, tri-field meter, Gauss meter, dowsing rods, and even compasses to detect electromagnetic field energy, the fluctuations. And then we're into, just the experience of the individual paranormal investigator is very important to your report and your full experience. One thing with investigations and researching this, and the fact that there's nothing proven yet, is your theories can change from week to week. You'll be on one investigation, and it can blow one theory of yours out of the water, and you've got to change how you think about things, how you look at things. So it's constantly changing. There's first-hand experiences by investigators, and there's also past experiences. If you were there as a child, you can compare it to now as an adult. A lot of investigators will feel invisible touches. They smell a scent with no apparent source, hearing disembodied voices, especially your personal name called. Footsteps, seeing orbs, objects moved by invisible means, or apparitions. And every time you have an experience, that you just gain that much more information about what you're experiencing, and form a better theory. Eyewitness accounts are first-hand accounts from usually the people who call us in, our clients, the ones that were present for the unexplained activity. Second-hand accounts you can get from newspapers, relatives, friends, etc. We also ask people to tell us if there were animals present during the activity, and we want to know how they reacted. If the animal didn't really seem disturbed by it, then maybe nothing really happened. But if the animal acted like there's a person there, that gives more evidence. Let's see. Oh yes, let me go back to that. One thing we try to determine from our witnesses and our clients, we are trying to do a serious investigation. So we need to know if they might be on any mind-altering drug, prescribed or otherwise. If they have schizophrenia or some other mental disorder that involves hallucinations, or if they have a motive for creating a haunting, such as individual or business attention. A lot of bed and breakfasts, they make a lot of money having a haunted bed and breakfast. And if they can get in a paranormal investigation team that says, yes, you're haunted, they'll put that in their ad and draw people. So if you're being called in just to give these people more money in their pockets, you don't want anything to do with that. And some individuals just want the attention. So we always have to look out for that kind of stuff. And the research is, we may start with a legend, but then we try to dig into that legend and get the facts out of it, because a lot of legends are based in fact. We try to get the historical facts confirmed. We use maps, floor plans, land grants, old photographs. Their resources are the library, newspapers, historical documents, historical societies, owners, history books, architect blueprints, the internet, just tons of resources. And one person or the whole team can do research on an investigation, which leads us to the definition of science. Systematized knowledge derived from observation, study, and experimentation carried on in order to determine the nature or principles of what is being studied. And that is exactly what we're doing as paranormal investigators. If the conditions for interactions with ghosts can be discovered, then it is plausible that a living person could communicate at will with the dead, even in a controlled laboratory situation. I believe that is going to happen someday. And one big thing about our investigations is debunking. We go in as skeptics. We don't go in believing, yes, there is a ghost here. We go in as skeptics, and we have to go in that way because you have to get rid of what is normal, what you can actually say, oh, this is caused by this, cause and effect, before you can look into the paranormal. When you have eliminated all which is impossible, then whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. And that, again, is Sir Arthur Conan Doyle via Sherlock Holmes. To debunk is to find a mundane explanation for a seemingly paranormal occurrence. This is the first thing an investigator does. When all normal possibilities are exhausted, that leaves the paranormal. And that's what we concentrate on. Experimentation by investigators in the form of attempts to recreate phenomena described by witnesses is the easiest way to debunk. If you can show that a breeze moving tree branches across a window make the same sound as a ghoul scraping their grubby nails across the glass, then you've debunked.
You want to put this over there? You want to play some EVPs? You want to hear some ghost voices? Yeah? You have a teddy bear at home? Because some of these are really creepy.
Where can we plug this in?
All right. This first one came from Yakult, Washington. And we had gone downstairs and left the recorder running upstairs and closed the door.
And remember, this room is completely empty. There's no one upstairs.
And we were just downstairs, and we were down there very quietly hanging out with the owner of the house. So this first one you hear is in a closed room, and we don't believe that it's a lot of spirits having a party, but we're picking up different things that have happened over the years that have kind of, the energy is coming from the walls, and this is what you're hearing.
Sometimes our tape player's haunted, so bear with us.
Yeah. It has good sound, though, so I don't want to dump it yet.
This is off a digital recorder.
No, I think in a quiet room, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, there's a few things in there. In the beginning, it sounds like somebody goes 6 o'clock, and then there's a woman that says something like, I don't know the floor. And then another guy near the end, they're yelling, he's going, you better stay, girl, or I'll get you. So there's a lot of energy wherever these are coming from. Something, I believe that residuals, when you're getting them or when they're happening, actually precede some kind of very either traumatic or just a big event of some kind.
With a lot of energy.
With a lot of energy, a lot of emotion that has been put out.
And like Sarah talked about the different classes, that you can tell. Some of them are kind of hard to hear. You can't really tell what they're saying. You get a lot of whispers. It's very hard to hear. You have to really pull them up and filter them out on your software. But some of them are extremely clear. It just sounds like we're standing here talking to you. Those are very rare to get.
And this next one was taken, same thing, closed up in a room, locked the door, and we leave.
That's our motion detector.
That's the motion detector. So somebody was obviously in the room with the door closed, and we were downstairs
We
again.
do have like a 10-second pause or so between, so there's a little dead space.
Is you going to go ahead and play number 3? This one was taken here in Eugene at a private residence. The whole apartment building was empty, and we left our recorder there. And it sounds like she's taking a bath, and she even goes, something like hear a quacking
At the
sound.
end, you hear a duck. It sounds like a duck quacking at the very end. That's appropriate.
Now, this next one is when they answer you a lot. If you're lucky enough to ask a question or you're talking to them, sometimes you're lucky enough to get a response. This is really what we want, especially when you can't hear it and then you listen to it later and this is there. So this next one is me actually talking to someone there, and this is actually from Sublimity also. And I was telling them the family appreciates you, because I'm trying to get them to calm down. They've been causing some problems. I'm saying, look, the family's okay with you. The family appreciates you. And she says, yes, they do.
And if you guys have any trouble hearing, we can play it back. So I know sometimes they're a little hard. Is it number 4? It's the
It
next
is
one.
number 4.
Okay.
You didn't finish that one.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Actually, there's a little space in between a few seconds.
Didn't it sound like someone taking a bath?
Sound like water running.
There
It
was
an
no
empty
water
apartment.
running. It's an empty apartment. I didn't see any bubbles or anything. So that's a good one.
Would you guys like to hear that again?
Yeah.
That was number 4.
Yes.
Uh-oh, it's giving me fits again.
Oh, here we go.
So you didn't hear them say yes, they do?
No. Mm-mm, but I was asking a bunch of questions holding the recorder in my hand.
Oh. Wait. There we go. Number 4.
Number 8.
Number 8. Okay.
This one is also in Sublimity, where we get them to talk to us quite a bit, and there's a lot of activity in that house. And it sounds like 2 of them saying the same thing, but you'll hear them say, "Tell her how you died." That's not it. Okay, well then it's number 9. So, like I said, I don't have the right
Yeah.
sheet, so I'm going off of the old one.
It's okay. It'll come up here in a second.
And you'll hear.
I can play. You want to play that back again?
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah, try. You guys catch it that time?
Okay.
As you can tell, it's really hard to hear some of these voices. I mean, you really have to sit with headphones and listen to these things. You listen for hours and hours with the tapes to pick these things up.
Okay, not the next one, but the one after that.
Okay.
You can hear a girl saying, "Gotta try to talk to her."
Play that one.
Sometimes they sound a little scratchy. Right? The scratchy sound, I believe, is kind of an electrical. It's the energy that they're creating. That's why you get kind of that scratchy
It
sound.
takes them a lot, just like she said,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of energy to move an object. It takes a lot for them to speak as well.
It does. So 3 after that one. So what number are we on?
11, so
Okay,
14.
so 14. This is one when we were leaving what used to be an old brothel, and we were coming down the stairs. And we had left our recorders up there, and you can hear him. He sounds kind of drunk. And he goes, "Here they come back down the stairs." That's a good one.
I'll play that one again.
I like that
That's a
one.
good one.
Yeah, we've gotten some fun ones in that place. Well, it used to be a brothel. I suppose they had a lot of fun. So then that number is that?
That's 14.
19. 19 is at the asylum. She showed some pictures from that same old asylum, Damaged State Hospital. We were able to go there. We left the recorder on, and this is a little loud. It sounds
This
like
is-
somebody banging.
It's on the criminally insane ward.
That's
what
right.
floor
It's
this
a
is
lovely
on.
section of the
Yeah.
what it was. So and it sounds like he's saying, "Don't hit the kid."
It's going to be loud, the bang is. Just
That's a little creepy, I thought, when I got that from an empty building that's abandoned and, you know.
And it didn't even have any electricity at the time. Electricity was shut off even.
The place is dark.
Yeah, completely dark. Going through those subtunnels and down the morgue rooms when it's completely dark in that place was
it
quite
was-
an
There was
experience.
like no electricity, then the spirit must have been really strong.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah,
needed.
and where that banging
That
noise
would
was
be
coming
really
from, I
creepy.
don't know. Yeah, I'm listening to this tape and I'm like, whoa, I'm pulling the headphones
We had
off.
a camera battery disappeared during that investigation. There was nobody else in the building.
$80 camera battery.
$80 camera battery. Yeah.
So.
I took it and didn't give it back.
So whoever was a kleptomaniac when they were alive is still a kleptomaniac today. Okay, so after that, we've got, what number we
We're
are?
on number 19 is what we just played.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, please. This is an interesting one we got in Independence, and it used to be an old speakeasy, and it was actually turned into a steakhouse, and you hear somebody, they must have been excited about what was going on, because he goes, now we're getting somewhere. And somebody else says something after that, and I'm not sure what he says. Sometimes you can't understand them. That'd probably be a, I don't know, probably class B, because at the very end, people hear
Yeah, you
different
can't
things.
tell.
You can't really tell what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then the third, three more after that one.
Okay, so that would be 20.
This is a child, and I apologize, but I was playing with a train in a private residence with a little boy who said that there's a ghost he plays with. And this little boy loved trains.
He said the
apparently.
ghost loved trains too. His name was Sam. He said he'd play trains with him. And this is what we got.
He's saying, choo, choo car.
I can play that one back again.
And then you can just let it go to the next one after that. And this next one was in sublimity, and we have a lot of fun there. And we left this one in here, and you'll hear her say, "Get my rifle," and then laugh. She's funny, isn't she? That's a class. That's a class A. That's when there's no question, and it's totally clear.
Yeah.
We were outside when that one came out. So
Nobody was in the house.
they get aggravated with me, but we get the best EVP in that place. So I don't really care
We've
as
been
long
there,
as.
what, 5 or 6
Oh,
times? It's an
man.
ongoing investigation
Yeah,
for us.
'cause it's
We've actually
constant.
become very good friends with the family. At this
Yeah,
point,
at this point you have to be because they've got a lot of stuff going on. You want to hear that one again? You want to try to play that one again?
Yeah, I can try to play that.
I love that one. I think that's really good. And especially you just think she's so funny. It's a private residence.
in Sublimity, which is east of State and Salem in that area.
Okay. Playing some of the best ones for you.
Yeah, we're just picking a few because I know we're short on time. So. Now this sometimes is not like a cooperate, so just bear with us in case it is.
Yeah, that one's kind of weird. The first one you'll hear Todd and I talking. We're at the speakeasy. And like I said, that one was also another one that we got a lot of EVP in. And we were trying to figure out the name of the doctor because we figured that there was a doctor there. And we were trying to think of his name. So we're talking to each other going, is it Doctor this? Is it Doctor that? Just trying to see if we get any feel for anything. Well, we were obviously way off because the whole time he answers us and you can hear him go, no, no, no.
At the end he goes,
And then at the
"No."
very end he goes, no. So we're just really stupid, according to the ghost. We're just idiots. Now, if you notice in there is an interesting voice also, it's not the same person, dead person there. And they go, a wagon? Now, I cannot tell you who that is or why, but I will say that Todd and I do not go to investigations and say things like, a wagon? So I have to think that, you know, just like we all have our little acronyms or little things that we say either to our pets or to our animals and, you know, whatever it is, or to those that we love. Maybe he had a dog and he used to call it and say, a wagon? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. So they do things and say things sometimes that just make absolutely no sense to us, but they mean something to them. So that's got to be where that came from. Now, not the next one, but the one after that. This one, I'm in the house in Sublimity, and I'm having an interesting conversation with her. And I said, somebody moved it. And she says, me. And I said, did you move it? And then she goes, would you like to play back that? She took my recording.
Did you move it?
So obviously they know they're being recorded. Would you like to play back that?
Ooh, she's kind of like sassy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Would you like to play back that? Now, this next one is also in sublimity, and this is not the woman, but the guy. And I'm complaining because, I don't think you hear me talking on this at all. The only living voice you hear is the owner, and she says, somebody turned it off. Okay, just remember that line. Somebody turned it off. That's going to be the only living voice you hear. The rest of it is them just going off, because I started complaining because the recorder had been turned off, and then of course as soon as I go up there, I turned it back on. They hear us talking about it, and so you hear Josie go, somebody turned it off. It's the next one. Okay. And they're just going off, and you hear the one guy gets upset, and he goes, what's going on with this?
It's off all the time, so somebody turned it off.
There's only one living voice on there.
Out of all that.
Of all that. So as you can see, they talk among themselves. They do talk to you. You just got to be lucky enough to get them when they're responding.
Sometimes they're talking to each other.
Sometimes they talk among themselves. So this next one is one of the better ones that we've gotten. And this is one, I don't think I even have to tell you what it says. I don't think so. We left it in a hallway at a very haunted place in Portland.
This is one of the clearest EVP you'll ever hear. I'll put it that
I
way.
think so, yeah.
It's the very next one, right?
You're trying to talk to me.
What do you think?
Don't you want to talk to me?
You're trying to talk to me.
See if I can play that one back.
What's good about that, we only left the recorder sitting in a hallway for 20 minutes, so that's pretty good.
You're trying to talk to me.
It's very rare to get
Very
an EVP
rare
that
to get
clear.
something that clear. Usually they sound a lot like some of the ones that I've played for you already. They can kind of sound kind of scratchy or very even kind of electrical. And sometimes there's even popping sounds that we get that sound like they're syllables, like it's coming through some kind of a wire. That's also EVP, even if there's not words being formed. But that takes a lot of energy for them to actually come out and talk that clear. So after that, this other one, there's a lot of energy in this one too.
Very next one.
Yep, this was in sublimity, and I'm leaving the recorder in the room and closing the door, and I guess he tries trying to get my attention, and I wasn't paying attention. You can't. And there's somebody after that. Hey, I'm closing the door, and hey. And then you hear another voice going, have you tried to call her? So you can kind of hear that at the very end after the one guy goes, hey. You want to hear that one again? Mm-hmm. Listen near the end of that and you hear another voice go, have you tried to call her? All right, so we are at what number?
We are at number 6, right? We just played.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Number 12, please. This is also the house in sublimity. There's a problem outside, and I don't know why they have a problem with the outside of the home, but they do. And I told them we checked outside, and then the girl answers again, you checked outside?
Because there are areas that their dog in the yard, their dog gets freaked out and won't go in the yard in certain spots. So they don't know what's going on with that.
So something happened out there that's not cool to them. We find that every time we go.
So she was surprised that we checked outside.
And the next one is also from the same house, and this is the owner talking, and she's talking to the little girl that's there. And she says, are you trying to find your mama? Do you want to tell me? No, she says, do you want to tell me your name, this one? And you hear her, I don't know if she's saying Donna
It sounds
or
like
Mama.
Mama. It sounds
I think
like
she's
a
saying
child.
Mama.
Do you want to tell me your name?
I'll play that one again.
Do you want to tell me your name?
I think she's saying Mama.
I think
That's
she
what it
is
sounds
too.
like, so.
Yeah, I think so
Well,
too.
and her husband has seen the
He's
child
seen the
ghost.
little
He woke
girl.
up one morning at 5 o'clock and there was a little girl standing right next to his bed staring at him. And when he kind of took a double take and looked at her, and then she went right through
Well,
the wall.
she looked at him, and she backed up and went through the closet.
Right back through the closet.
And then
to
he
the
said
wall.
he thought, okay, I'm dreaming, right? So he got up, he went to the bathroom, he comes back to bed, And then he lays there for a minute, and now he's feeling kind of funny. So he looks over. Now she's moved over to
She's looking
to
at
his wife's side, and she was looking down at her, and she looked at him again like, oh, you saw me again, and she backed up through the wall. So. How'd you like to know that you could wake up with that at any time, right?
A little unnerving.
Okay, 2 more after that one. So whatever that one is, not the next one, but the one after. Okay, this one's really kind of funny. This is that place in Northwest Portland that used to be a brothel. So the whole upstairs is just, they're not using it, and it's empty. It's a huge, massive bar. And we're leaving again, and we're walking downstairs, and I'm kind of being funny, and I'm saying, do something fun, thank you, do something fun, and then you hear someone go, you bet, like, yeah, right. And then I'll say, we love you, and then he goes, bleh, blonde hair. Okay, I think that... So you can kind of see what type of ladies of the evening he probably used to enjoy, I suppose. I don't know. Not blondes, no. We're going to go all the way to the last one after this one. I forget. I don't know what number. So what number are we on?
15.
Okay, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Wow, you have a good memory. I'm surprised. Okay, this one is one of the freakier ones that we have. And it's an electrical sound. It'll sound like almost somebody dragging something across a hardwood floor. As you hear that dragging sound, you will hear her form words from that sound. So to me, that's an electrical sound. She's trying almost like trying to form these words, and at the very end, they come out. Now, we were all sitting there. What happened was we were sitting in this apartment, and the door actually opened, and she was standing there.
You could see the doorknob turning the door.
It turned and opened, and there was no one there. So now we have a group of people, including the media, who is sitting next to the door. So we're all staring at this door, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. We're all looking at you. And now then you'll start to hear that sound. And I kind of laugh because I'm trying to keep positive so people don't freak out. And I said, act casual, and that's when you'll hear her. And you'll hear that sound create these words, and she says, you're all looking at me. So to me, it just reiterates the fact about the electricity.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We're all looking at you.
Now, yeah. And when you put this on look at it frequency level, as that sound is going on, it is actually below, it's like a minus 90, which is in a range that we cannot even hear. So this is the way that I test a lot of our EVPs. I will only claim their EVPs when they're like a minus figure, which means that it's below my range,
level for the human
my
voice.
frequency of voice, and below where I can hear it.
And that's why you have to have software a lot of times to filter things out and bring them up so you can hear them, especially like audio software.
Like tonight, when they're out
software.
there, I don't think they're going to try to get any EVP. There's too many people. I mean, it could happen, but I would be very skeptical because there's so many people around, and you can't have everybody and say, okay, say your name, say your name, say your name, so you know what everybody sounds like on tape.
So, I bring this lamp home. My wife and I are sitting on the bedroom about 11:30 at night. We just got done watching a movie, and we hear paper shuffling coming on the other side of the wall. Well, we don't have any rats or mice. We didn't have the windows open, and both our cats were on the bed, who are champion micers, by the way. And something was causing those papers to rattle. And so we were listening in, and it's like a burglar's going through our papers. So I try to sneak up, and I still hear the papers. I'm sneaking up. I go around the corner, and it stops. To this day, I haven't found what caused those papers to shuffle. All right, fine. We were recently moved. I put the lamp on top of the refrigerator. I also put an air freshener. Put the air freshener right there. And my wife and I are standing by the aquarium. We're talking. Air freshener goes flying 6 feet, right down by our feet. It made a loud bam. All right, that's interesting. No, the fridge is over there, where they're standing. It's now right here. So I pick it up, take it to the fridge, put it on top of the fridge. Knock it down. It falls straight down, folks. It's a full air freshener. It's got liquid in it. I try rolling it. It doesn't want to roll. The liquid in it counterbalances the roll, it pretty much stays in place. It's heavy. Something caused it to go from over here to over here. Okay. I ask it, can you do it again? Now, not the same night, but the next night. It did it again. All right. I said, next time, I want to get my camera on you, all right? So don't do it again until next time. I'm at work. My wife calls me. Honey? Yes, dear. It did it again. So, this lamp, obviously, I can't explain this paranormal activity. But this is the fun part. This is what is out there. You could be a skeptic all you want. That's fine. But when you go on these investigations and see these things, you're encouraged to rule all natural explanations out. You know, what I'd like to tell people is prove me wrong. I will give you the evidence, I will show you the things and take you on the investigations. We're going to go to a cemetery. There's a pretty good chance that there's someone might be there. Now, there are prankster ghosts. I know of a place called Elmo Street Restaurant and Theater in San Antonio, Texas. It's got two spirits, a little boy and a little girl. Well, actually, it's a teenage girl. But the little boy is 12 years old, and he likes to throw things. His name is Eddie. It's a buffet. You got a wall line full of buffet stuff, and you have the scoops. Well, if a scoop was to naturally fall, it would go right down. No. 11:30 in the morning, you got the lunch hour rush. Eddie will take the food and fling it across the room. He doesn't care who sees. This is a fact, folks. Now, we had dinner there, and we got to see all kinds of neat stuff happen. How do you explain a spoon full of food flying across the room, slapping a bunch of people along the way? This is what makes it fun. Yeah, there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of know-how, and you got to try to rule things out. But when you do rule everything out, you're left with solid paranormal evidence. It's like a drug. You want more of it. So, when you go tonight, keep an open mind. I'm not asking you to believe in ghosts or not believe in ghosts, but just pay attention. Pay attention if anybody touches you. Pay attention if you hear something. Ghosts have a way of manipulating smells. You can smell perfume. You can smell cigars. It's important that when you go on investigations, not to wear perfume or not to smoke if possible, because they will take a smell and amplify it. With that said, come follow us to the cemetery. Be respectful and just ask, hey, is anybody out here? And then wait 2, 3, 4 seconds. What's your name? Introduce yourself. Hey, my name is Steven. We're going to be coming here. I would like anybody who's friendly to come interact with us. You know, no harm there. But make sure you're stating something friendly. You don't want to say, oh yeah, I want to open up the Hell's Gates and, you know. So, take a digital recorder. It could be a cassette recorder too. Ask some questions. Take about 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And just, for the first part, you're not going to hear it. Okay? Not until you rewind it. So, just sit back, relax, talk. And when you go back, listen carefully. Now, remember there's 3 types of EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. There's type A, which is crystal clear. I've heard one that a lady had asked, can you hear me in this thing? And I'm like, wow, it's crystal clear. Now, there are other EVPs where you ask the question, what's your name? And you hear, Rachel. You can also hear emotions in electronic voice phenomena. You ask the question, how do you feel? I'm sad. You know, others you can hear anger. Get out of here. You know, it all depends on how you treat them, how you respect them. And remember, in a cemetery, this is a resting place. Please don't touch anything. Don't pick anything up. There is a good chance that they will follow you home if you try to pick up something that doesn't belong to you. Also keep in mind that it's against the law too. It you're respectful, they will interact with you. I've proven this. This is what makes it so interesting. I'm going to teach you guys about energy. I'm going to show you with dowsing rods and how these work. Now, dowsing rods are real simple, primitive tools used a long time ago back in the biblical times to use to find water, find underground objects. There are different types of rods, but this is the basic L-shaped rod. And I'm going to give you a demonstration. Would you be my... Stand right here, please. Now, one of the things you want to do when you hold the rods is hold it very carefully, and you want to balance it. Okay, I'm not manipulating the rods, I'm just holding it. So I balance it out. Now here's an interesting thing. When I walk up to this guy, I should be able to stab him. Just walking, if I walk straight, okay, and hopefully you're right. Stab. Okay, let me try that again. No manipulation, no nothing. Stab. All right, thank you very much. Would you be a volunteer? Sure. Stand right here. Now, if I was in Vegas, this is a good time to put your money down. Because what I'm about to show you is proof that we are made of energy. I cannot stab this person, no matter how hard I try. Walking, if I use these properly. I'm going to walk up, not do anything special. I'm going to balance it out. And one thing you're going to notice is as I'm walking towards her, I'm going really slow. I'm going to pull back very softly. You're strong. There's also something else pulling. You can probably see it pulling. I'm going to do it one more time. Again. I'm just walking up to her. And why is that? Well, it's nothing against the guys. Women, remember when we were talking about poltergeists? You guys make, without even thinking about it, women put off a lot of energy. Sometimes they could shatter glass, sometimes they could make things fly. It's incredible. Folks, these tools are very sensitive to energy. Now, when you're walking around, like in the cemetery, if you balance it out, and ask, hey, is there anybody here? Can you follow me? You're going to start noticing it'll start moving. Now, right now, there's a lot of energy towards where you guys are. For some reason, it wants to pull to the left. Now, okay. So now it's going over here. Now, one of the fun things about this is you can play what I call choo-choo train. You can follow a ghost orb, and it'll lead you left and right, back and forth. That's the fun part. It's even better if you get somebody to photograph it, and you see an orb, a ghost orb, right there. Now, what we know from ghost orbs is that, granted, there are dust particles and stuff like that, but there are fields of electromagnetic energy. Your brain is surrounded by a field of electromagnetic energy. We have equipment that measures this energy. I just happen to have brought my electromagnetic field detector. Now here, if there's let's see, you can't pick it up on here, but this picks up the energy that it's pretty much the same energy that's in your head. So there's the link already. Now it's believed that the consciousness is in the electromagnetic field of your brain. So if that's true, and the first law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only altered. It's like water. You can't create it, you can't destroy it, you can change its properties. You can freeze it, you evaporate it, whatever. Same concept. There's been lobotomies done, people's brains taken out. Their consciousness is nowhere in the brain. Where else is it? Where's your soul? Where's who you are? Well, like data, you could transfer energy, you could transfer information through energy. We've already proven that with our electronics, our science. So, is it a far reach to guess that here we have electromagnetic fields that are biologically energy, and we go on an investigation, we have a faucet that turns on, we have a drop in temperature because you excite molecules. When you excite molecules, one of the effects is a drop in temps. These temperature drops can be anywhere from 20 to 60 degrees. So we're not talking, oh, I think I feel something. No, it gets cold. And you can see your breath. That's another phenomena that's so cool to see. So, what else? Sarah, where are you? Okay. I'm going to walk with these. If anybody wants to follow along. I need somebody who's going to walk around holding this. Okay. I got one just for you too. That's going to be kind of hard to see, as you might think. Yeah. Now, when something goes crazy, that thing is going to scream. It's going to be a real high-pitched scream. This is going to measure the electromagnetic fields, if there are any. Now, naturally, there should not be. Keep in mind, though, that there is a geomagnetic field that's created by the Earth because of the iron core in the center that's constantly spinning. The Earth has its own magnetic fields. Sometimes these energies, these ghosts, feed off of that. So some nights you'll have a lot of paranormal activity. Other nights, they don't have any energy. So what do? They sap batteries real quick. That's why they mess with electronics. It's not because they want to fool around. Sometimes they do. But they'll sap the energy just so they could do something. I'd mentioned that my air freshener got thrown 3 times. That takes effort. You can't, imagine yourself driving down the road one night and your car breaks down, okay? So you get out of the car, you got a flat, and you don't have no way of calling anybody, and so you try to get people's attention. Hey, hey, nobody's responding to you. Nobody can see you. Okay, well, same thing with your body. Let's say you die, but you're still you. Your vehicle just broke down. Does it mean you're any less of a person? No. So you wander around. You're like, oh, great, I can't find anybody, and then you got these paranormal investigators, these ghost hunters, these students who are interested, and they say, hey, is somebody here? Like, did you hear me? And someone like myself who says, yeah, I heard you. Can you do it again? Yeah, I'll do it again. Check it out. Now, in Portland, since I've been here 1 year now, I've been on one investigation in Portland. I can't tell you where, it's because it's private. But I had the majority of the group over here. I'm over here. There's one other person right here. There is a rock, and this is on tape. In fact, I think I might have it with me. If not, there's a rock that moves on concrete by itself. I was like, did you hear that? Yeah. I turn around and say, hey, I heard you. Can you do it again? And wait 2, 3, 4 seconds, nothing. And I start to say something, and then the rock moves. I'm able to triangulate. It came from over here. Now this rock that moved on its own twice. Okay, skeptic mode. Explain what happened to the rock. Well, there's a light wind, but can't explain that. Maybe it fell. No, because if it fell, it would have gone tink, 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 and stopped, right? Okay, so how do I explain this rock moving? Maybe an animal. Maybe an animal was carrying it and dropped it. Because everybody's looking. You don't see no animal. Okay, so, what could it be? Well, we found where the rock is. It's on the other side of a wire, on the other side of a fence. And we looked and we get our flashlights and everything. There is no possible explanation why this rock moved, because it's protected on the other side of a big cable. Not to mention one of those little gates that, I can't really go into too much detail about the gates, but imagine they're little bitty gates. This thing moved on its own. I picked it up and I saved it because it was very fascinating. This is just one of many interactions I've done. You guys can do the same thing. What I'm doing is not magic. I'm not, all I'm asking, pay attention. Like I said, I'm not telling you ghosts are real. I'm telling you that if you pay attention, you'll start noticing things. That's why people contact us. People contact us saying, hey, I got things flying around. I've got things, I hear footsteps, I hear drops, I got drops in temperature. I've got, my animals are going crazy. My electronics is going fritzy. When my grandfather died, for 7 days, I had paranormal activity in my house. I had lights flickering. I had my cats both staring in unison, watching back and forth. Now, I didn't see my grandfather, and is it a coincidence? I say it's my grandfather because all of a sudden, after the day my grandfather died, I started having paranormal activity. Is it a far stretch to say that it was my grandfather? I don't know. Knock on wood, someone you love doesn't pass away, or at least anytime soon. But when they do, pay attention, because they could be trying to contact you. It's not to scare you, because one of the first things they do when all these people write me, or write us, is they say, hey, something's going on, it scared me. So I ask them, hey, what do you feel about that? And they'll say, well, okay, I don't mind as long as they leave me alone. And so I'll tell them, I say, okay, if it's bothering you, tell them, hey, I don't mind if you stay here, just please don't do this. Please don't touch me. Please don't appear or make sounds that disturb me. 95% of the time that works. Now, sometimes a ghost doesn't know they're dead. That's because they died of probably in a traumatic accident. They still think they're alive. If that's the case, we try to let them know that, hey, it's time to move on. Now, we can't wave our hands and, do magic, but being respectful, again, is more powerful than anything you could do. Are you getting anything? This little device is a cheap version of the electromagnetic field detector. The green light is from 0 to 2 milligauss. The yellow light is from 2 to 7 milligauss, which is believed to be the energy that spirits are at.
What if it spikes into the red?
If it spikes into the red, you've got something that you need to check out. We are, in essence, debunkers because we are looking for evidence ourselves. We're looking to explain natural causes. We can't just jump to the first sound or sight that we see and then say, oh, it's ghostly. Again, like I mentioned in the stories, we have to try to explain what it is that's paranormal. Now, it doesn't stop there, because most ghost hunters are like, ooh, cool, we just saw something paranormal. But what we try to do also is understand, why did this happen? What caused it? For example, a common phenomena is we will hear footsteps, unexplained. And let's say that we hear something that sounds like footsteps, nobody's moving. Okay, well, there's a lot of possible explanations. Depending on the humidity levels, houses can expand and contract, creaking of the wood. Okay. Now, let's say the footsteps were paranormal. Now, nobody's asking the question, does that mean ghosts have weight? In essence, energy does have mass. Einstein said that, E equals mc squared. So, how much weight does it take, and it's not a joke, how much weight does it take for a ghost to, make an imprint to make a sound? That's the thing we're trying to do. We're not trying to say, oh, ghosts are real. We're saying, hey, there's paranormal activity. We're trying to understand what is causing it, and go from there. Now, science, because you cannot take a ghost and put it in a classroom or a lab, will not accept anything paranormal or ghostly as a fact. And you got to keep in mind that Isaac Newton sat under a tree and hit his head. He got hit with an apple. Now, was that paranormal? No. But at the time, he didn't know what it was. So he asked the question, why did the apple fall? Did the tree push it? Did the earth pull it? Or did the tree repel it? He didn't know. So by him asking and researching, he discovered gravity. That's what we're doing. We're not saying, oh, gravity doesn't exist or ghosts don't exist. We're saying, hey, this is paranormal activity. This is what we know as a consensus. And when we go on our investigations, each investigation is unique. That's why it's important for everybody to take notes, to be alert, and to be open-minded. Don't be one side or the other. Every little sound is a ghost. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Electronic voice phenomena. It's a popular amongst skeptics because it's believed to be, their excuse is that it's believed to be radio waves. Now, in my experience, as well as the other people in our group, if you ask a question, you get an answer. What's the probability of this being a random signal, a TV or radio or a cell phone? It's very slim. Now, on some investigations, like the two that you met earlier, they have 9, 10 EVPs on one investigation. They're getting interaction. Some of them are like, can't wait till you leave. Others are like, get out. Now, I find that difficult to believe that these are random signals. I have more evidence suggesting that if I ask what's your name and I get a name, there you go. Skeptics, unfortunately, lean too much to one side. Same thing for ghost hunters, too. There's some ghost hunters that lean too far to the right side or left side and believe in every little thing they do. You got to stay neutral. You got to stay with an open mind. What else was I going to say? If you be respectful, they will interact with you. But if you go in with the bad attitude, why are they going to waste their time? Just like in real life. If I treat you bad, why are you going to talk to me? It's the same thing. You're dealing with people. You're dealing with personalities. That's what we believe. As far as we know, we don't know if it's anything else. And does anybody have any questions?
I'm curious if a cemetery would be a place where spirits would naturally be, because you said like earlier that it's generally like individuals
yes.
that...
I'm glad you asked that. There's certain investigators that do and do not investigate cemeteries for different reasons. Some people believe that cemeteries do not have ghosts, on the concept that ghosts are, or spirits will be where they're happiest most in life. Is it a coincidence that bars, theaters, restaurants, places of social interaction has a lot of activity? That would suggest that they're going to be where they want to be. If I'm a ghost right now, I'm going to be at a movie theater because I love movies. Now, back in the old days, people are like, why do we have haunted houses? Well, in the old days, people used to live in one house for 80-something years. That was a house full of memories, full of energy, full of all kinds of things, and that's all they've ever known. When they die, be it naturally in their sleep or tragically, they're going to gravitate back towards where they live. That's their home. That's all they've ever known, both in the real world and the spiritual. I mean, do I have any evidence of this? No. But I think this is common sense. So far, I don't have any other explanation as far as why do we have ghosts that hang out at really old houses.
Okay. So start down here and just walk towards the grave.
Okay.
Just make sure you hold your hands comfortable, and these are parallel, but don't hold them so that they're going to hit each other, so that they can cross.
Okay.
And hold it on the copper part so these can move freely.
Right.
Oop. There you go.
Sorry about walking the grave.
So yeah, just start walking.
Crazy.
Yeah. Anybody else want to give it a try? Yeah?
Sorry for walking on your grave. I hope it doesn't disturb you.
I don't know why those started on across a little early. It's not an exact science. But that is, so we don't always just use these, obviously, to find unmarked graves. We use them to detect electromagnetic energy. So in an investigation, we'll take a certain area and do a crisscross back and forth and see if we can find an anomaly that isn't something artificial. You know, that's why when I was getting the energy from the tree, I was looking up to see if there were power lines overhead. You got to rule out the natural energy before you can start looking at unnatural energy causes. Do you have any questions, or anybody else want to try? Give it a go. Try feeling the energy from the body varied here with the dowsing rods. All you do is you hold them parallel, your arms comfortable, and you start walking toward it, and they start crossing when it comes across the energy. You go back and you can see how tall this person is. Very short. But when you have unmarked graves, that's, you know, if you don't know if it's an infant, a child, you know, adult, man, woman.
So why do you think it says mother if it's so short?
Well, it is actually pretty true. I don't know how when she died, but people used to run a little bit shorter.
It's a pioneer grave.
Yeah, so.
Can I quickly ask how you got started with the paranormal investigation?
Yes, I've just been interested in ghosts and the phenomena ever since I was a child. No reason. I didn't have an event myself, but I just read everything I could on it. As I got older, I got out of the fiction and started reading, started reading the actual accounts of ghosts, and the investigators, like in England, is where this basically started. Serious investigating, and once I realized that there were groups that do investigations and you can go out in the field and really look for ghosts and find them, I just started an internet search for a local group and found Trails End Paranormal Society. Went to a meeting and that was it. I've just been hooked on it for the last 2 years.